What's up, YouTube? So I'm going to show you the cheapest way to fix a GE washer that has what's called the mode. If we look down here, number 4, mode shift circuit failed. It says check mode shifter coil. Now, my washer wasn't working, and I reset it by opening and closing the lid 6 times after it was unplugged and plugged it back in. Kind of defaults the circuit. It was still messing up, so I popped open the front cover. If you look inside the motor shroud, down inside there's a little green LED. And if you have a fault code, it'll blink. And you just kind of match up the fault code with this little piece of paper, and that gets tucked in right in here on this GE washer under the faceplate there. So I took my voltmeter and I took off the mode select coil, and that's that guy right there. When it decides to agitate, it will engage the coil by inducing a voltage to those 2 pins right there. Now, what that coil does is on the bottom here, you have your pulley, and your motor sits over here, and you can see that there's some teeth in there to engage. So, what happens is that this is an electromagnet, and when that engages, that goes down, so it spins the inside, but not the outside. So that's what that does. So what I did is you drill out these rivets. That unit comes off, and inside here you have a coil of wire, and you have a pigtail coming out of it like that. And then what they put in for a safety device is a little thermal fuse. If that coil gets too hot, it'll blow that fuse, and it'll make it doesn't reset, it's a one-time use deal. So I'm going to try and set this camera somewhere. I want to show you some readings that I was getting. Just as a reference for everyone else, because I couldn't find any on YouTube. Light on here. Kind of helps. Alright, this is not working too well. Okay, sorry it's crooked, but so we're on ohms now. My leads are placed in the right position, and I'm going to go across this thermal fuse, which is in series with everything. You can see it's hooked up. That's reading absolutely nothing. It's completely open. If I short these leads out, you can see that my meter calibrated and reading 0 ohms. But across that fuse, it's completely open. There's no voltage being passed. Right, so I'm going to disconnect that. And now we have the actual electromagnet that is down there that goes over that guy. It kind of sits right there, and it sucks that down when that magnet goes on. So we're going to set this back up here. Now we're going to go across the magnet. One and 2 leads. So we're seeing that we're getting about 89.7 ohms across that coil there. So that coil is perfectly fine. There's nothing physically wrong with the coil. It doesn't look overheated. The only issue with my entire washer was this little safety device that just prevents this coil from going thermonuclear in the event that there's a problem. With 89 ohms, I don't ever see that ever being an issue. They probably just put it in there for a manufacturer safety. So take that and throw it away. Just wire the coil up to these leads, just like you would imagine they'd be wired. You know, those two leads go across the coil and put it all back together, tape it up, solder it, of course. Don't use any wire nuts or anything like that. Put it all back together, and your whole problem with your washer is going to be fixed for basically free. There's no parts to buy. You just have to remove the component that has failed, and it fails quite often. And a new whole assembly was going to be about $150 online, and couldn't find just the electromagnet. So this is a much easier, cheap method. Just take the soldering iron, a voltmeter for a little bit of diagnostics, and you should be up and running in about 2 hours or so. Anyways, if you have any questions, shoot me a comment, subscribe and like, share. Thanks.